Hey everyone, I'm Dave and this is Snowbelt Tesla. Today's video is a test to see how much autopilot I can use on a drive home from work. For those of you new to Tesla, before we begin the drive home, let's look at what the display screen is telling us about autopilot. Although I have the full self-driving package, I believe that almost all features on demo today are a part of autopilot, which is included on every Tesla vehicle. Please correct me in the comments below if I mentioned anything untrue. When autopilot is available, this gray steering wheel appears. The adaptive cruise control speed is shown in the middle. This is the speed that Tesla will control to if cruise is started. To do that, you do a single light tap down on the gear stalk. In autopilot, and not on a divided highway, you are limited to a maximum of 10 km per hour over this posted speed limit. If just using the adaptive cruise control, you can set it to any desired speed. The Tesla's belief about the current speed limit is shown on the right. This speed limit value can come from either Google Map data or from the car recognizing a speed limit sign. I am in Canada, so these values are in kilometers per hour. When there is no known speed limit, this will be blank and the Tesla will assume a maximum of 60 kilometers per hour. I'm not sure what this value is in other countries. Please educate me in the comments below if you know. When I first purchased my Tesla in July 2020, it didn't have the ability to read speed signs. Since I live in a rural area, there are a lot of sections of my drive that the car didn't know the speed limit, or it was incorrect. This made autopilot not very functional for significant parts of my drive to and from work. Since I've received the update to add this feature, it has made a huge difference. In this screenshot, you can see I'm approaching a stoplight, and both cruise control and autopilot are not available, so they are blank. Once autopilot is engaged, the lanes are identified by solid blue lines, the circle around the cruise control turns blue, and the steering wheel is highlighted in blue. One of the fun features I like is that the steering wheel is animated and will mimic the position of the actual steering wheel. Here you can see it is slightly turned to the left to go around the bend. In this screenshot, you can see the Tesla doesn't have a map or speed sign speed limit and is assuming 60 km per hour. Of course, it's got 70 km per hour because it's taking the maximum of 60 and adding the 10 that it's allowed. Here's a clip of an unknown speed limit and therefore a limit of 70 km per hour. That's the 60 maximum plus the 10 over. As I drive by an 80 km per hour speed sign, it shows that it has read it and updates the speed. If I tap on the speed limit, it will set the cruising speed to my desired set speed. And since that is more than 10 km per hour over the limit, it will be limited to 90 km per hour. Now that we have the basics covered, let's see how much autopilot I can use on my 50 km drive home. So we're leaving my work right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the screen so that we can see it a little bit better as we're driving along. Now you can see I'm already in autopilot, just exiting the driveway. As long as that blue steering wheel is illuminated, then that means the vehicle is in control. It's doing all of the stopping here right now. I'm going to remove it from autopilot to make this left-handed turn. Once I get up to speed, then you'll notice that the little gray wheel appears, and by a light double tap on the gear stalk, it will engage autopilot. I tap on the recognized speed sign of 60 km per hour, and my set speed is 10 km per hour above that, so I'm going at 70. I've just removed it from autopilot here. It would stop at the stoplight on its own, but I find it's sort of geared more for city driving and would sort of slam on the brakes, so I prefer to remove it manually. I'm going to make this right-hand turn and then re-engage autopilot. This is actually the section on my preview that explains how to tap the sign. So right now it thinks the speed maximum is 60 because it's unmarked and it does not have any road map data. Once we go by the 80 km per hour sign, I'm going to tap it and it's going to set my speed to 90. This is only required when you are doing it for the first time. There's a bad corner coming up here. People often pull out in front, so you can see that the vehicle slows down, very much like adaptive cruise control. As we approach the stop sign that's coming up here, you'll see that there's a ramp speed on the right-hand side of 40 kilometers per hour. The Tesla will pick it up as if it's an actual speed sign and reduce the maximum speed from 80 to 40. You can see the yellow ramp speed sign, and it's going to identify it. It thinks it's a road speed sign. So this vehicle has come to rest on its own. Okay, the vehicle creeps forward on its own. All of this is done autonomously. Once I'm at the stop sign on my own, you can see the little red bar there. And once I believe it's clear to go, I can give a single tap down on the gear stalk, or I can tap on the accelerator and it will go. So you can see that I've just tapped down on the gear stalk. The vehicle is doing all of this. Now it still believes the maximum speed is 40 here. This is actually incorrect, it's 80. But there is a sign coming up that will identify it as an 80 sign, and since I already had cruise control engaged at 80 kilometers per hour, it will automatically adjust the speed to 90, and away we go. You can see in this section here that the lines are obscured a little bit by the snow, but it seems to do just fine. It does have a little bit of difficulty sometimes identifying exactly where the lane is, and although the blue lines that identify the edges of the lanes do move around a fair bit, the drive itself is actually quite smooth. As you can see, I'm going to disengage it from autopilot at this point. Once again, it's because it seems to slam on the brakes. It's more like it's designed for city driving. I wish I had a setting more for country driving where it kind of eases up to these stop signs without using the brake so much. I'm not sure why it identified 2 stop signs there, but I'm going to make this left-hand turn. And once I've made it past the turn, I'm going to re-engage autopilot. You can see that the screen has just gone dark. The exposure settings don't reveal that it has gotten quite dark outside. You'll notice that there will be some more snow up here along the edges of the roadways, making the lines a little more obscured. Typically on my drive home I would turn left here and then there would be no more autopilot because there are no lane lines. However, I do need to go to the grocery store, so I'm going past my home. This vehicle is still driving entirely on its own at this point. As I approach the traffic light coming up, I'm going to need to make a left-hand turn. I am going to put my signal on and it will automatically change into the left lane. This is a feature of the full self-driving package and is not normally included in just autopilot. So I'm going to put my signal on, and then the vehicle will identify that it's safe to transition into the lane, and then it completes the lane change and turns the signal off. The vehicle is driving up here to this point. It's slowing down and coming to a stop. I'm going to try and let it see if it'll go around a corner, but it doesn't have that capability, so it's going to run into trouble and ask me to take over. Once I'm around the corner, once the lane lines have been identified, my little gray steering wheel will appear. I'll re-engage autopilot, put my signal on, and allow the full self-driving feature to do the lane change for me and turn the signal off. So So I've disengaged Autopilot because I'm going to turn into the driveway for this grocery store. And I've returned the screen to its normal size just so you can see that it was enlarged. So, what is the conclusion of all this? Well, it seems like for most of the drive home, the car drove entirely by itself. All I had to do was a couple of corners. When I was going to turn left there to go home, from that turnoff to my house is about 2 kilometers, and there are no lane lines on those roads, so it would all be not autonomously. I would have to do all of that myself. But it's really, really handy feature, and I absolutely love it. I'm always centered directly in the lane, and even though I'm paying attention, I'm not tired from trying to do all those fine adjustments that a computer is perfectly capable of doing it. So all in all, I'd say it's a fantastic success. I can't wait to get the new full self-driving update where it'll actually drive on city streets. I'm super pumped about that, and hopefully my vehicle will be able to drive all the way from driveway to driveway without any interventions. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please put them in the comments below. Also, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and it'll really help me out. Thanks so much.